Imagine having the ability to control your life by simply embracing silence. What if you could cut through the noise and focus only on what truly matters? What if silence could be the key to unlocking your full potential and aligning everything in your life to work in your favor? In today's world, where distractions are endless, most of us are overwhelmed by constant noise, both outside and inside our minds. But what if I told you that withdrawing from the chaos could lead to clarity, purpose, and success? In this video, we'll dive into the power of silence and how it can help you focus, find direction, and make better decisions. You'll learn how to create the space to listen to yourself, make impactful choices, and build the life you truly want. Stay with me as we explore the transformative power of quieting the noise and using silence to fuel your progress. Number 1, practice silence daily to sharpen your mental control. Silence is not the absence of effort. It is not weakness. It is not passive. It's one of the strongest disciplines you will ever develop. When you learn to practice silence every single day, what you're really doing is building something far more valuable than noise. You're building control, mental control, emotional discipline. The kind of control that separates the calm from the chaotic. The kind of control that separates those who live on their own terms from those who keep reacting to everything around them. In a world that never stops talking, silence becomes a decision. You wake up, the noise starts. Your phone, your notifications, your worries, your distractions, they all try to get your attention. But when you choose silence, you choose to take that power back. You choose to slow down your reactions. You choose to stay with your thoughts long enough to understand them. You begin to see that not every opinion deserves a response, not every situation requires a reaction, and not every challenge needs to be met with panic. Most people have no clue what's going on inside of them because they never give themselves time to listen. They run from one distraction to another, from one conversation to the next, from one fear to another. But when you stop all of that for a moment and sit in silence, even for 5 minutes a day, you start to see what's real. You begin to take responsibility for the way your mind works. You begin to notice patterns. You start to recognize triggers. You begin to separate what's urgent from what's actually important. That's why silence is not just about peace. It's about power. It sharpens your awareness. It trains your emotional responses. It gives you space to ask yourself the hard questions that no one else is going to ask for you. Are you living how you really want to live? Are your thoughts truly your own, or are they just reactions to what everyone else is saying and doing? When you practice silence, you stop handing your attention to everything. You begin to filter your life. You start choosing where your energy goes. And when you have control over your energy, you become stronger in every area of your life, because energy is all you have. Where it flows, your life follows. Silence brings you back to yourself. It helps you pull your energy out of things that don't serve you. Arguments that lead nowhere. Drama that drains you. Thoughts that spiral out of control. All of that gets weaker the moment you choose silence. But here's the truth. Silence isn't easy. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to want to escape it. You're going to reach for your phone. You're going to feel bored, restless, even anxious. That's part of the process. Most people quit right there. They think something is wrong, but that's just your mind detoxing. You've been overstimulated for so long. Your mind doesn't know what to do with stillness. But if you push through that discomfort, if you stay with it, what's waiting on the other side is clarity, strength, discipline. And once you've got those, you're not shaken so easily anymore. Mental control means you don't get pulled around by your emotions every time something doesn't go your way. It means you don't explode when someone disrespects you, because you know your response is your power. It means you don't chase arguments just to be heard, because you understand that being understood is not the same as being loud. That kind of control gives you freedom, and silence is where you train that muscle. You start small, maybe 5 minutes in the morning. No music, no scrolling, no talking. Just sit and observe what's going on in your head. Notice what thoughts rise up. Notice how fast your mind moves. And then start to slow it down. Each day you do this, your ability to focus gets sharper. Your self-awareness gets stronger. Your reactions become more deliberate. Instead of rushing into a situation, you pause, you breathe, you think, you choose. And that gap, that pause, is where your power lives. Silence builds that gap. That space between what happens to you and how you respond to it. Most people don't have that. They're slaves to their triggers. Someone says something and boom, they lose control. A problem shows up and they spiral. But if you train in silence, you don't lose yourself like that. You stay grounded. And in staying grounded, you earn respect. You earn authority. You earn trust. Not just from others, but from yourself. When you have mental control, you start building consistency. You show up when it's hard. You keep going when it's boring. You work through frustration. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on discipline. And that shift changes everything. Because now your life isn't being run by how you feel in the moment. It's being run by your values, your goals, your deeper reasons. And silence connects you to those deeper reasons. Now you might ask, why can't I just think clearly while living my normal life? Why do I need silence? Because your normal life is full of noise, full of distractions that pull you away from your deeper truth. You can't hear yourself clearly when the world is shouting at you. You can't focus on what matters if you're constantly reacting to what doesn't. You need time to reset your mind. You need time to think without pressure. That's what silence gives you. And here's the kicker. Once you make this a daily habit, you start to see how many of your problems were just mental clutter. You realize how much energy you wasted worrying about things that didn't matter. You notice how often you spoke just to fill the air instead of adding value. You understand that being quiet is not weakness. It's control. It's maturity. It's intelligence. People will test you. They will expect you to react the way they do. They will try to provoke you, bait you, pull you into arguments, or push you to prove something. But silence puts you in the driver's seat. You're no longer reacting to the world. You're responding from a place of strength. That's how everything starts flowing in your favor. Not because you're lucky, not because life suddenly gets easier, but because your mind stops getting in the way of your progress. You stop sabotaging yourself with overthinking, overreacting, and over-explaining. You walk into a room and speak less, and people start listening more. You hold your opinions until you understand the full picture, and people start respecting your voice. You stop defending your every move, and people stop trying to question your worth. That's the shift. That's the power silence gives you. And it starts with a few minutes a day. No fanfare, no big moment, just you, alone, sitting quietly, training your mind to listen, training your emotions to settle, training your focus to stay where it belongs. You don't need permission to do this. You don't need the perfect environment. You just need to decide, and that's what most people avoid. They wait for silence to come to them, but it won't. You have to go get it. You have to carve it out of your day, even when you're busy, especially when you're overwhelmed, because those are the moments your mind needs it the most. And here's the truth about people who practice silence daily. They move differently. They're not rushed. They're not loud. They're not easily shaken. They make decisions that last. They stay consistent when others quit. They stay focused when others drift. And that consistency turns into progress. That progress turns into mastery. That mastery turns into respect. That respect turns into results. It all begins with mental control. And the way to build it, the most proven, the most powerful, the most overlooked way, is silence. So stop looking for more noise to motivate you. Stop waiting for another voice to tell you what to do. Go into silence. Face yourself. Hear what your mind has been trying to say. Get clear on what you need to cut out. Get clear on what you actually want. Then come back stronger. Come back focused. Come back in control. And when you do that every day, the world starts working with you instead of against you. Not because it changes, but because you've changed. You've taken your power back. You've stopped reacting. You've started choosing. You've stopped chasing. You've started building. And that is how silence makes everything flow in your favor. Number 2, use quiet moments to observe people's true behavior. You want to understand people better? Then stop trying to impress them. Stop trying to interrupt them. Stop trying to out-talk them. Just get quiet. Sit still. Pay attention. You'll be amazed at what you learn when you're not trying to be seen or heard. You'll see what people do when they think no one is watching. You'll hear what they say when they believe no one is really listening. That's where the truth comes out, in the quiet moments. Most people never take time to observe anything. They're too busy trying to say the right thing, prove a point, or fill the silence. But if you sit back and give people enough space, they'll show you exactly who they are. Watch how they treat someone they don't need. Watch how they talk about someone who's not in the room. Watch their energy when they're not being praised or noticed. That's where their real behavior lives. Not in their words, but in their patterns. If you want to build better relationships, make better decisions, and protect your energy, you need to develop this skill. The skill of staying quiet, the skill of watching, the skill of listening without jumping in. When you're not speaking, you're learning, you're absorbing details, you're reading body language, you're catching inconsistencies between what they say and what they actually do. And over time, those little signals give you all the information you need. You don't need to interrogate people to know them. You just need to give them room. People will always reveal themselves if you give them enough time and space. You don't have to force it. Just stay quiet and alert. When they think you're not analyzing, that's when they stop performing. That's when the masks start slipping off. That's when their ego gets tired of pretending. And if you're paying attention in those moments, you'll see everything you need to see. But this isn't about judging people. It's not about trying to catch someone doing something wrong. It's about protecting your time. It's about aligning yourself with people whose actions match their words. You need to know who is real and who is just pretending. And you won't figure that out in loud, chaotic environments. You won't figure it out when everyone's trying to impress each other. You'll figure it out when the spotlight is gone, when the attention fades, and when the silence stretches out long enough for the truth to walk in. This kind of awareness gives you power. It helps you stay ahead. It helps you avoid getting pulled into drama. It keeps you from trusting the wrong people with your goals, your time, your heart. Because now you're not reacting to charm or surface-level talk. You're making choices based on reality, not illusion. That's how you stop wasting energy on people who drain you. That's how you stop over-explaining yourself to people who never really cared. That's how you stop getting shocked when someone switches up on you, because you saw it coming from the start. This kind of observation is also how you grow as a person. When you're quiet, you stop making everything about you. You learn to study people without needing to be the center of the conversation. And the more you study people, the more you learn about patterns. You start recognizing insecurity masked as confidence. You start spotting manipulation disguised as kindness. You stop getting fooled by loud promises and start noticing quiet consistency. And here's something most people don't understand. The people who observe in silence often have the most control in the room. Not because they dominate anyone, but because they know who they're dealing with. They don't give their trust away quickly. They don't share everything with everyone. They speak when it matters, not just to be heard. That kind of presence commands respect, because it's rooted in self-control and emotional intelligence, not noise. You want to know if someone respects you? Watch how they act when you say no. Watch how they respond when you succeed. Watch how they behave when you don't have anything to offer. All of that is clearer when you're quiet, when you're not trying to explain yourself. When you just observe, you'll see who celebrates you and who tolerates you. You'll see who claps when you're watching and who stays silent when you're not around. Silence doesn't just reveal others, it reveals everything. In those moments when you're quiet, you start connecting dots you never noticed before. You realize who always takes and never gives. You remember the times someone ignored your needs, but expected you to meet theirs. You notice how some people always steer conversations back to themselves. You begin to filter your circle, not based on who's fun to be around, but who's real when it counts. And that kind of clarity, that changes your life. Because now you're moving with intention. You're not chasing validation. You're not explaining your worth. You're observing, deciding, and adjusting. Quietly, powerfully, intentionally. That's how strong people move. They don't broadcast every step. They just pay attention. And when the moment's right, they make decisions that protect their peace. Silence creates space for truth, not just about others, but about yourself too. You start noticing your own reactions. You see where you give too much. You see where you stay too long. You begin to notice what kind of people drain you and what kind of people uplift you. You stop ignoring the red flags you once excused. You stop defending what doesn't deserve to be in your life. It all starts with getting quiet, taking the pressure off yourself to always respond, dropping the habit of filling every pause. Just breathe, watch, learn. When you do that long enough, your awareness sharpens, your relationships improve, your circle tightens, and your energy returns to where it belongs, with you. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about seeing people clearly. It's about removing the noise so you can make better choices. It's about standing in the strength of silence and letting people show you who they are without you having to ask. Because once you know how to observe quietly, you stop being surprised. You stop feeling blindsided. You stop needing validation to feel secure. You've done the work. You've paid attention. And now you act from a place of truth, not guesswork. That is the power of using quiet moments to observe. It gives you clarity, strength, and direction. It brings you out of reaction and into control, and it builds the kind of life that's not built on noise, but on awareness, on discipline, and on truth. Number 3, choose not to react when provoked by others. When someone tries to push your buttons, stay still. When they raise their voice, lower yours. When they try to make you look foolish, don't bite. That's not weakness, that's strength. The kind of strength most people never build because they're too busy reacting to everything. But if you want power over your life, you've got to learn this. Not every provocation deserves a response. Not every insult needs a comeback. You don't have to swing back every time someone throws a punch with their words. There will always be people who test you, people who get loud, disrespectful, petty, or even cruel. But what they say and how they act is not your responsibility. How you respond, or choose not to, is. You can't control what others do, but you can control whether you give them your energy. And if you keep giving your peace to people who don't deserve your time, you'll stay drained, bitter, and on edge. That's no way to live. Choosing not to react isn't giving up. It's stepping up. It's choosing your values over your emotions. In the heat of the moment, anybody can lash out. Anybody can get loud. That's easy. It takes no discipline to explode when someone triggers you, but to pause, breathe, and stay calm when your pride wants to strike back. That takes real character. You've got to train yourself to stay composed, even when someone's trying to throw you off. You've got to be the kind of person who doesn't let someone else's behavior pull you out of alignment. Because the truth is, when you react out of emotion, they win. They get what they wanted. They see that they can control you with just a word, a look, or a tone. And once they see that, they'll keep doing it until you stop handing over your power. Sometimes silence is your best weapon, not because you're scared, but because you're focused. Because you've decided you won't lower yourself just to match their chaos. You don't need to out-argue anyone. You don't need to prove you're right to someone who's trying to provoke you. What you need is control over yourself. And that means learning to stay grounded when someone else wants you to explode. There's a kind of peace that comes when you no longer feel the need to clap back. When you stop needing to explain yourself to every critic. When you no longer need to correct every false story someone tells about you. People who are confident in who they are don't waste time defending their name in every room. They let their actions speak over time. They let truth reveal itself naturally, and they stay focused on what matters. When someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, what do they want from me? Do they want me angry? Do they want me off balance? Do they want to pull me into their emotional storm so they can feel powerful? If that's the case, why give them the satisfaction? Why hand your mood over to someone who feeds off your reactions? You don't owe them that. And when you can stay calm in the face of provocation, it confuses them. It disarms them. It shows them they have no control over you. There are moments where saying nothing is the most powerful message you can send. When you walk away instead of shouting. When you hold your head high instead of stooping low. When you respond with maturity instead of emotion. That's not weakness. That's control. That's self-respect. That's a person who values their time, their peace, and their energy too much to waste it on foolish battles. You have to build a filter between your feelings and your actions. You've got to train your mind to check in with your values before you open your mouth. Because once the words leave your lips, you can't take them back. Once you explode, you can't undo the damage. Some moments, some words, some reactions, they come with consequences that last far longer than the moment itself. You've got to ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this battle necessary? Or is this just someone trying to distract me from my purpose? Maturity is when you realize you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Strength is when you can stay rooted when someone tries to shake you. Growth is when you feel the fire rising in your chest, but you choose peace anyway. You don't run from conflict, but you choose when and how to engage. And sometimes the smartest move is to walk away without saying a word. That silence carries a message. You don't get access to my emotions just because you're loud. Think about the kind of life you want. Do you want to be controlled by every stranger's opinion? Do you want to give your time and focus to every small-minded person trying to bring you down? Or do you want to be steady, focused, in charge of your emotions? Because those things don't come naturally. They come from discipline, from daily practice, from choosing every day not to react just because someone's trying to pull you into their mess. It's not easy, especially when it feels like they're disrespecting you, pushing your limits, or challenging your pride. But ask yourself, who are you proving yourself to? And what do you really gain by reacting? Temporary satisfaction, a few minutes of release? It's not worth it if it costs you your dignity, your peace, or your energy. Some people won't understand why you stay calm when they're trying to start a fight. That's fine. You don't need to explain your silence. You just need to know what you're protecting. Your goals, your peace of mind, your mental discipline. That's what matters. Not their approval, not their reaction, just your own alignment with what really matters to you. And over time, as you keep practicing this, something shifts. You start noticing that people who once got a rise out of you no longer have that power. You stop getting triggered by every little jab. You stop falling for the trap of emotional reactions. You start staying focused on your goals. Your discipline sharpens. Your mind gets stronger. And people start noticing something different about you. They see that you don't get shaken easily. They see that your peace is not for sale. That your reactions are not up for grabs. This is how you build real inner strength. By choosing not to react. By holding your ground when everything inside you wants to fight back. By mastering the quiet strength that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. That kind of self-control doesn't just help you win arguments. It helps you win at life. Because now you're not wasting energy. You're not burning bridges. You're not living in regret over words you never meant to say. You're calm. You're focused. You're strong. And most importantly, you're in charge of yourself. No matter what anyone else says or does. Number 4. Hold your words to gain deeper respect fast. People listen more to the person who speaks less. Not because their voice is louder or their status is higher, but because their words carry weight. There's something powerful about a person who doesn't feel the need to talk all the time. They don't interrupt. They don't speak just to be heard. They speak when there's something real to say, and that's what gets people to listen. You don't earn respect by talking too much. You earn it by holding back until the moment is right. In a world full of noise, silence has value. Most people speak without thinking. They rush to fill every pause. They answer before the question is finished. They post everything they feel. But those who learn to wait, to watch, to choose their words wisely, those people are remembered. When you speak only when needed, your voice doesn't get lost in the crowd. It cuts through. It sticks. And that's when people start paying close attention. There's a reason the people we admire most aren't always the loudest. They're not the ones always telling others what to do. They're the ones who lead by example, who act with purpose. And when they do speak, they say something worth hearing. Their words are thought through, not thrown out carelessly. That's how you build trust. That's how you gain real influence. You don't do it by trying to dominate every conversation. You do it by showing that your words are earned, not wasted. Holding your words doesn't mean you're weak. It means you have control. It means you're thinking. It means you're aware of your surroundings. It means you understand timing, tone, and energy. People who are always talking often reveal too much. They give away their doubts. They show their frustration. They open the door to being misunderstood. But when you keep a tight grip on your words, you protect your power, you keep your intentions clear. And that creates mystery, focus, and respect. Respect grows fast when people realize you're not speaking just to impress them. You're not showing off. You're not trying to win points. You're communicating with purpose. And that makes you stand out. Because these days, people are used to noise. They're used to empty talk. When they meet someone who listens more than they speak, it catches their attention. They lean in. They want to know what you think, because you don't throw your thoughts around carelessly. When you hold your words, you also give yourself time to learn more. You get to observe. You get to listen. You get to see what others miss, because they're too busy talking. You understand people better. You pick up on details others overlook. That makes your words smarter when you finally do speak. Because now you're not guessing. You're not assuming. You've taken the time to gather what matters. And now your words hit with accuracy. The fastest way to earn deeper respect is not to demand it, but to act in a way that shows it. And part of that is showing that you respect yourself enough not to say everything you feel. You don't need to vent every frustration out loud. You don't need to share every opinion in the room. You don't need to correct everyone to prove you're right. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and let your actions speak. That silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Every time you pause before you speak, you're training your discipline. You're reminding yourself that you don't need to react to everything. You're building strength, because it's easy to blurt something out. It takes no effort to speak out of emotion, but it takes real effort to pause, reflect, and decide if saying something actually serves a purpose. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you build relationships based on trust, not tension. People are drawn to those who speak with intention. They trust them. They respect them because they know those words weren't rushed or forced. They were chosen. And that gives your words more weight. Even if you say little, those few words can shift a room. That's the kind of impact worth building. Not being known for talking too much, but being known for always saying something meaningful when it matters most. Think about the people who have left a lasting impression on you, the ones you still think about. Chances are, they didn't need to talk constantly. They spoke carefully. They chose moments wisely. And when they said something, you remembered it. You respected it. You may not have agreed with everything they said, but you respected how they carried themselves. That's the kind of presence worth working toward. In moments of tension, silence gives you space. Space to think. Space to calm down. Space to see clearly. And in that space, you make better decisions. You avoid saying things you'll regret. You avoid escalating problems. You give yourself time to lead with logic instead of emotion. And that earns you more respect than any clever comeback ever will. People may not say it out loud, but they notice it. They see that you're composed. They see that you're not easy to shake. That's powerful. And when people notice that about you, they start listening differently. They ask for your thoughts more carefully. They value your words more deeply because they know you don't waste them. You've proven through your silence that your voice matters. And that's how you build credibility. Not through volume, but through value. Not through speaking often, but through speaking well. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to show that you take yourself seriously. And part of that is protecting your words, not just talking to talk, not just filling space, but using your voice with care. That's how leaders are built. That's how trust is earned. That's how respect is gained, fast and deeply. So the next time you feel like jumping into a conversation, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Is this the right time? Am I adding value or just adding noise? That little pause can be the difference between being respected and being dismissed. It can be the difference between building connection and creating conflict. Hold your words, use them with purpose, and watch how people begin to treat you differently. You'll notice the shift. People will start asking you more thoughtful questions. They'll wait for your answers. They'll lean in when you speak, and they'll think twice before interrupting you. That's not accidental. That's earned. And it all starts with learning to say less so that what you do say means more. That's how you gain deeper respect. That's how you build influence. That's how you stand out in a world full of noise. Number 5. Reflect in silence before making important life decisions. The decisions you make shape the entire direction of your life. And the truth is, the bigger the decision, the quieter your mind needs to be. Rushing into something without thinking it through will cost you more than just time. It could cost you peace, clarity, opportunity, and even people. That's why it's so important to step away from the noise when something important is on the line. Not everything requires an instant answer. In fact, most of your life-changing decisions demand silence first. When you're about to take a new job, move to a new place, end a relationship, start a business, or make any major shift in your life, the pressure can make you feel like you need to act fast. But speed is not always wisdom. Just because a decision feels urgent doesn't mean it should be made right away. Many people regret their biggest choices because they made them in a rush. They reacted to pressure instead of pausing for reflection. They listened to the loudest voice in the room instead of the quiet voice inside them. Silence gives you access to that quiet voice, the one that tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. You can't hear it when you're constantly distracted, always scrolling, always asking for opinions, always talking about what to do next. You need to withdraw, even for a few minutes, to ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I need to do to feel proud of this decision in 5 years? These are the kinds of questions that need space. You can't answer them while the world is pulling at you. Some of the worst mistakes in life are made because people didn't stop to think clearly. They got caught up in fear, in ego, in people-pleasing, in trying to prove something to others. They moved too fast, trying to escape discomfort, trying to chase something shiny. But they didn't slow down long enough to understand what they truly needed. They never asked if the thing they were chasing would actually make them feel fulfilled once they got it. Silence doesn't just slow you down. It helps you see straight. It clears out the emotional noise. It removes the pressure. It brings everything back to the center. In silence, your mind starts to process things that were buried under the surface. You begin to see what matters most, not just what's grabbing your attention in the moment. And from that place, your decisions become sharper. They become less about reaction and more about intention. You don't need a fancy routine to reflect in silence. You don't need hours of meditation. All you need is the willingness to sit with yourself and get honest. Turn off the phone. Step away from conversation. Put aside your pride. Forget what others think. Just be with yourself. Ask the hard questions. Let yourself feel uncomfortable. Let the truth rise up without trying to fix it right away. It's in these moments that real clarity begins. Most people don't reflect because they're afraid of what they might find. They fear regret. They fear realizing they're on the wrong path. They fear having to make hard changes. But avoiding the truth doesn't protect you. It traps you. It keeps you in cycles of doubt, confusion, and frustration. Silence breaks that cycle. It brings the truth to the surface. And with that truth comes freedom. Freedom to choose a better path. Freedom to make decisions that align with your values, not your fears. The people who make the best decisions aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who take the time to get quiet, to listen, to feel, and to think. They don't rush because they know the cost of poor judgment. They don't act out of pressure because they've learned to respect the process. They understand that silence is not a delay. It's a strategy. It's a way to build strength behind every move they make. When you reflect in silence, you also separate yourself from outside influence. You stop trying to live up to everyone else's expectations. You stop trying to impress anyone. You start making decisions based on what's right for you, not what looks good to others. And that's where real confidence comes from. Not from pretending to have it all figured out, but from knowing that your choices are grounded in something deeper than impulse or image. You'll find that silence brings peace, even in the middle of uncertainty. It helps you let go of the need to have all the answers right now. It teaches you patience. It gives you a chance to slow your breathing, feel your heartbeat, and ask yourself what kind of life you're actually building. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You'll stop second-guessing so much. You'll stop looking for approval. You'll start making moves with a calm mind and a strong heart. There will always be people who try to rush you. There will always be situations that make you feel like time is running out. But your life is yours. Your choices belong to you. And nobody else is responsible for the outcome, except you. That's why silence matters. It's your chance to take back control before you hand it away. It's your chance to reset your thoughts and make sure your next move is one you won't regret. You don't need to explain your reflection process to anyone. You don't need to justify taking a step back. You don't need to apologize for thinking things through. That's what wise people do. That's what strong people do. They think before they act. They observe before they decide. They reflect before they commit. And because of that, they move with purpose instead of panic. So the next time life presents you with a major decision, don't jump into action right away. Find a quiet place. Sit down. Breathe. Ask yourself what really matters. Ask yourself what you'll be proud of in the long run. Don't answer right away. Just sit with the question. Give yourself permission to wait. Let the answers come naturally, without force. You'll know when it's time. And when you do move forward, you'll do it with strength, not stress. This is how you avoid regret. This is how you stay in control. This is how you live a life that's guided by clarity instead of chaos. Make silence part of your decision-making. Make it a habit. Let it shape your direction. And watch how much more powerful, peaceful, and purposeful your life becomes. Number 6. Listen more to understand what others truly want. Listening is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in your life. But it's not just about hearing words. It's about understanding, truly understanding, what people are trying to communicate. In our fast-paced world, where everyone is talking and sharing their opinions, it's easy to think that we have to always speak up, always share our views. But the real magic happens when we choose to listen. Not just to respond, but to understand what others truly want, what they're really saying beneath the surface. There's a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is a passive act. It's what happens when sounds hit your eardrums. But listening, real listening, requires effort. It requires you to be fully present, to put aside your own thoughts, your own judgments, and to pay attention to the person in front of you. This kind of listening changes everything in your relationships, in your business, and in your personal life. When you listen to someone with the intent to understand, it opens up a new level of connection. It's like you're tuning into the heart of the conversation. You're no longer just waiting for your turn to speak. You're engaging with the other person in a way that allows you to truly hear their needs, desires, and emotions. This level of attention creates trust. People feel valued when they are truly listened to. And when people feel valued, they open up. They share more. They offer insights that they wouldn't if they felt like they were being ignored or talked over. The thing is, people don't always say what they mean directly. Sometimes their words don't even match their actions. It's in the silences, in the pauses, in the subtle cues, where you'll find the real meaning. Listening more than you speak allows you to hear these cues. When you take the time to truly listen, you begin to understand the deeper layers of what someone wants, even if they haven't been able to express it clearly. How often do we interrupt someone in the middle of their sentence, thinking we already know what they're going to say? How often do we finish someone's thoughts, assuming we understand them completely? We all do it. But the truth is, when we do this, we miss out on the full message. We're so eager to jump in with our own response that we fail to hear the other person out. True listening requires patience. It's not something that happens in a few seconds or even a few minutes. It requires time. Time to let the other person express themselves fully, without rushing them, without jumping in with advice or solutions right away. Just listen. Let the conversation unfold. Be comfortable with the silence. Not every moment of conversation needs to be filled with words. Sometimes the best way to understand someone is to give them space to think, to feel, to articulate what's on their mind. And when you do this, something powerful happens. You not only understand them better, but you also earn their respect. People are more likely to open up to someone who listens. They trust someone who takes the time to understand. They feel heard. And when people feel heard, they are more likely to give you their trust, to work with you, and to invest in your relationship. Listening is a form of respect. It's an acknowledgement that the other person's thoughts, feelings, and experiences matter. It's a recognition that their perspective has value. But listening goes even deeper. It's not just about hearing what people are saying at face value. It's about listening to the underlying message, the emotions, the desires, the fears that they might not even be able to express directly. People don't always have the words to explain what they want or what they need. Sometimes they don't even fully understand it themselves. But when you listen carefully, with patience and empathy, you can pick up on the nuances of their message. Have you ever had a conversation where someone was speaking, but their body language told a different story? Maybe they were saying one thing, but their eyes were saying something else. Maybe they were smiling, but you could sense tension in their voice. This is the kind of listening that goes beyond words. This is the kind of listening that taps into the emotional landscape of the conversation. And when you listen this way, you begin to understand people in a way that goes far beyond what they say. It's important to remember that people don't always know how to ask for what they want. They don't always feel safe enough to say what they truly need. And sometimes they don't even know how to ask for help. But if you listen carefully, you'll start to notice the signals. You'll start to notice the small things, the hesitations in their voice, the way they pause before answering, the way their eyes flicker when they talk about a certain topic. These are the signs that tell you what's really going on. By listening more carefully, you also begin to understand the things people aren't saying. You'll start to hear the unspoken concerns, the fears, the desires, and the dreams that they might be afraid to share. And when you understand these things, you can respond in a way that shows empathy, understanding, and respect. Now let's talk about how listening to understand can help you in your personal life, in your relationships, and in your business. In relationships, the ability to listen is essential for connection. Think about your closest relationships, whether with family, friends, or a romantic partner. What makes them strong? What makes them work? Most often, it's not just shared experiences or fun times together. It's the ability to listen, to understand each other's feelings, to support each other through difficult moments, and to be there when it matters most. When you're in a conversation with someone close to you, are you really listening to them, or are you just waiting for your chance to speak? If you're only hearing the words, but not understanding the emotion behind them, you're missing out on one of the most important aspects of connection. True connection happens when both people feel heard and understood. And that happens through active listening. In business, the power of listening is just as important. Whether you're negotiating a deal, working with a client, or managing a team, understanding what people truly want can make all the difference. Often in business, we focus so much on what we want to achieve that we forget to listen to the needs and desires of the people we're working with. If you're negotiating, for example, it's not just about what you're offering. It's about understanding what the other party values most. The more you understand their needs, the better you can find solutions that serve both of you. Listening also helps you manage conflict. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, whether personal or professional. But conflict doesn't have to lead to division. In fact, if you listen carefully during moments of disagreement, you'll often find that both parties have more in common than they think. Listening during conflict can lead to deeper understanding, better solutions, and stronger relationships. But listening isn't just about solving problems or making deals. It's about building trust, empathy, and respect. When people feel like you understand them, they feel safe with you. And when they feel safe, they are more likely to open up, share their thoughts, and work with you toward a shared goal. Now let's look at how listening helps you understand what others truly want. People often communicate in subtle ways, and it's easy to miss their true intentions if you're not paying close attention. Sometimes they might not even know exactly what they want. But by listening carefully, you can pick up on their emotions, their fears, and their desires. And this is the key to understanding what they truly want. You'll start to notice patterns in the way people communicate. You'll begin to recognize when they're not fully expressing themselves, when they're holding back, or when they're afraid to ask for what they need. This deeper understanding allows you to respond in ways that address their true needs, not just what they're saying on the surface. In conclusion, listening to understand is one of the most powerful tools you can develop in your life. It transforms your relationships, your business, and your ability to connect with others. It requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to be fully present in the moment. By listening to understand, you'll not only hear what people are saying, but also understand what they truly want, what they need, and what drives them. And with this understanding, you'll be able to build stronger, more meaningful connections that will enrich every aspect of your life. Number 7. Control your energy by staying calm under pressure. When life throws challenges your way, your energy can either become your greatest asset or your biggest liability. The ability to control your energy, particularly when under pressure, can determine how effectively you respond to stressful situations. The world is unpredictable, and the demands on our time, attention, and emotions can sometimes feel overwhelming. But the most powerful individuals, the ones who rise above their circumstances, are those who have mastered the art of staying calm under pressure. It's important to recognize that pressure is a constant in life. It's not something that can be avoided. Whether it's a high-stakes work deadline, an unexpected personal crisis, or a moment when everything seems to be falling apart, pressure will always be present in some form. The true measure of your character and strength is how you respond in those moments. Do you panic, allowing your energy to drain away with stress and anxiety? Or do you stand firm, maintaining your composure and focus? Controlling your energy is not just about staying calm in the face of challenges. It's about recognizing that your energy is a precious resource that you have full control over. How you direct it, when you decide to recharge, and how you preserve it during stressful times are all part of mastering the art of maintaining calm under pressure. One of the first steps in controlling your energy is learning to identify when your energy is being drained. When you're under pressure, it's easy to get caught up in the immediate stress of the situation. Your mind races with thoughts of what could go wrong, what's at stake, and what you have to do to get things back on track. These thoughts, while normal, can begin to sap your energy if you allow them to. When you catch yourself spiraling into anxiety or fear, take a step back. Recognize that your thoughts are powerful, and the direction in which you let them go will directly affect how you feel and respond. To stay calm under pressure, you must first make a conscious choice to regain control over your mental state. You can't always control external circumstances, but you can control how you react to them. The key to this is shifting your focus. Instead of letting your energy be consumed by fear or panic, turn your attention to something that grounds you. This could be your breath, a mantra, or simply taking a few moments to gather your thoughts. The simple act of pausing can give you the space you need to regain control and avoid reacting impulsively. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is an instinctive, often emotional response that can be driven by fear, anger, or panic. Responding, on the other hand, is a more measured approach, one where you take a moment to evaluate the situation before taking action. The more you practice responding rather than reacting, the more you'll be able to maintain your energy and stay calm in stressful situations. A powerful technique for staying calm under pressure is the practice of deep breathing. When you're stressed, your body goes into fight or flight mode, releasing hormones like adrenaline and cortisol that prepare you to face danger. However, in most situations, the stress you're feeling is not the result of physical danger, but of mental and emotional pressure. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm the body and counteract the effects of stress. By taking slow, deep breaths, you send a signal to your body that it's okay to relax. This helps to reduce the feeling of overwhelm and allows you to regain focus. Another way to control your energy is by taking care of your physical well-being. Your body and mind are inextricably linked. If your physical energy is depleted, your mental energy will be too. When you're feeling physically drained, it becomes much harder to stay calm under pressure. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and getting enough rest are all crucial components of maintaining the energy you need to stay composed in difficult situations. A well-rested body and mind are much more capable of handling stress and making sound decisions. Equally important is the ability to set boundaries. When you're under pressure, it's easy to feel like you have to say yes to everything, to please others, or to take on more than you can handle. However, this approach will only leave you overwhelmed and drained. Learning to say no or to delegate tasks is crucial in maintaining your energy. Not everything requires your immediate attention, and not everything needs to be done by you. By setting clear boundaries, you protect your energy and avoid unnecessary stress. There's also power in mindset. The way you view pressure plays a huge role in how you experience it. Instead of viewing pressure as a negative force, try seeing it as an opportunity for growth. When you're under pressure, it means you're being challenged. And challenges are often where the most growth happens. Adopting a growth mindset, where you see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve, can help you approach pressure with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. This mindset shift alone can significantly reduce the emotional drain of stressful situations. Another key aspect of controlling your energy is knowing when to step away and recharge. There's a myth that the harder you push, the more you can accomplish. But constantly running on empty doesn't help you perform at your best. Taking breaks, allowing yourself moments to relax and reset, is essential for maintaining a high level of energy. It's important to recognize that it's okay to step back when you need to. It doesn't make you weak or less committed. It makes you strategic. Recharging your mental and emotional batteries ensures that you're ready to handle whatever comes next, with clarity and strength. Your social environment also plays a critical role in how you manage your energy. The people you surround yourself with can either lift you up or drain you. In times of pressure, having the right support system is crucial. Seek out individuals who uplift and encourage you, rather than those who add to your stress or negativity. The energy of those around you can impact your own, so it's important to choose wisely who you engage with, especially when you're under pressure. There will always be moments in life when you're faced with high-pressure situations. Whether it's making an important decision, dealing with a crisis, or facing a challenge that feels bigger than you. But in those moments, remember that your energy is within your control. By staying calm, breathing deeply, setting boundaries, and maintaining a positive mindset, you can navigate any situation with composure and clarity. Pressure, while unavoidable, doesn't have to break you. Instead, it can be a tool for growth and transformation. The more you practice controlling your energy, the stronger and more resilient you'll become. Staying calm under pressure is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill that requires consistent practice. It's about developing the self-awareness to recognize when your energy is being drained and the tools to regain control before you react. With time and commitment, you'll find that pressure no longer has the same power over you. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll find that you're able to respond with clarity, confidence, and purpose. This is the power of controlling your energy and staying calm under pressure. Number 8, speak only when your words have real impact. In a world flooded with noise and opinions, the ability to speak only when your words truly matter sets you apart. Every time you open your mouth, you have an opportunity to create something of value, to make an impression, or to influence the direction of a conversation. But the question is, how often do you choose to speak when it truly matters? There's a powerful truth in the idea of silence being golden. It's not just a saying, it's a principle that, when practiced, can drastically change how you communicate and how you're perceived. The constant hum of conversation that fills our days may sometimes feel like a necessity, but too often it can be distracting, pointless, or even harmful. There's a difference between talking because you have something meaningful to say and talking just to fill the silence or gain attention. In a world where everyone has something to say, those who choose their words wisely become more respected. People begin to listen when you speak because they understand that you don't waste their time. Each time you open your mouth, your words should carry weight. But how do you make sure that your words have this kind of impact? First, it starts with awareness. You must become aware of your tendency to speak without thought. How often do you find yourself talking just to participate in a conversation, or because you're afraid of silence? This is a common trap we all fall into. We feel the pressure to speak because it's expected, or because we feel it will make us look more engaged, more interesting, or more knowledgeable. But in doing so, we dilute our own influence. Speaking when it's not necessary only adds to the noise. Your words lose their significance, and in the end, people may stop paying attention to what you say. The true power of words comes when they are carefully chosen and spoken with intention. Every word should be like a tool, crafted to create something specific. Whether it's to inspire, educate, comfort, or challenge, your words should serve a clear purpose. When you speak with a clear intention, your words will resonate with others. They'll sense the weight behind them and take them seriously. Consider how you would feel if someone constantly spoke, but their words lacked any depth or clarity. Over time, their words would become background noise. They would lose their power to influence. But when someone speaks thoughtfully, with a clear purpose and a deep understanding of what they're saying, they command attention. This is the power of speaking, only when your words have real impact. Another key aspect is choosing the right moment to speak. The timing of your words is often just as important as the words themselves. Too many people speak at the wrong time, either interrupting, speaking out of turn, or speaking without the proper context. This makes their words seem rushed or unimportant. But when you speak at the right time, when the situation is appropriate, when your words can add value or clarity, the impact is undeniable. It's not about having the loudest voice or the most frequent words. It's about knowing when to speak up and when to stay quiet. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Silence can be more profound than words. When you remain silent, people are forced to listen more intently. Silence also gives you time to process the situation and choose your words with care. In many cases, waiting for the right moment to speak can have a far greater impact than speaking impulsively. It's important to note that speaking only when your words have real impact doesn't mean you never speak. It doesn't mean that you withhold your thoughts and opinions at every turn. What it does mean is that you are intentional with your words. You know when to speak and when to remain silent. You understand the difference between speaking just to fill space and speaking because your words will add value. There's a confidence that comes with speaking in this way. People respect those who don't need to talk constantly to make their presence known. When you choose to speak only when it matters, you demonstrate that you value your words and that you are not afraid of silence. It shows that you are self-assured enough to know that your words will be heard when the time is right. Being mindful of your words also means that you must listen more than you speak. True communication is a two-way street, and if you're always speaking without listening, you miss the context and the deeper meaning of the conversation. By listening intently, you can better understand the needs and perspectives of others. This allows you to respond in a way that's more thoughtful and relevant. When you respond only when your words have real impact, you're contributing to the conversation in a way that moves things forward, rather than just adding more noise. Additionally, when you speak with impact, you create an environment where others feel encouraged to do the same. By being intentional with your words, you set a standard for others around you. They begin to recognize the power of choosing when and how to speak. The conversations you engage in become more meaningful, more focused, and more impactful because everyone involved is contributing thoughtfully. It's also worth considering that speaking with impact isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you say it. The tone, delivery, and body language accompanying your words are just as important as the words themselves. If you speak in a rushed, distracted, or dismissive manner, your words will lose their power. But when you speak calmly, with confidence, and with purpose, your words have a greater chance of making the impact you intend. People will listen not only to what you say, but also to how you say it. One of the greatest benefits of speaking only when your words have real impact is the deep respect you gain from others. People appreciate those who speak thoughtfully because it's rare. In a society where everyone is trying to be heard, those who choose their words carefully stand out. They command respect without ever having to demand it. Their words carry weight, and people pay attention to what they have to say. This respect doesn't just come from others, it also comes from yourself. When you learn to speak with intention, you build a deeper respect for your own thoughts and ideas. You begin to understand the power of your voice and the value of your words. This self-respect translates into greater confidence, more meaningful interactions, and a stronger sense of purpose in all that you do. Ultimately, speaking only when your words have real impact is about more than just words. It's about cultivating a mindset of intentionality and mindfulness in all aspects of your communication. It's about understanding that your words are a reflection of your thoughts and that they have the power to influence, inspire, and lead. When you speak with purpose, you elevate yourself, your relationships, and the conversations you have with others. By speaking less but with more intention, you will begin to see the profound difference it can make in your life. Your words will carry more weight, and you'll find that your ability to influence, inspire, and create change increases dramatically. The more intentional you are with your words, the more powerful and respected you will become in all areas of life. Number 9. Silence your mind to find what truly matters. Silencing your mind is one of the most powerful tools you can use to gain clarity and uncover what truly matters. In today's fast-paced world, our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts, distractions, and noise. We live in a state of perpetual stimulation, with endless streams of information, social media updates, and constant pressure to do more. This clutter can drown out our inner voice and prevent us from connecting with our deepest desires, values, and the true essence of who we are. But to uncover what truly matters, whether it's your purpose, your passions, your relationships, or your sense of fulfillment, you must first silence the noise. The quiet moments are where real clarity arises. The stillness allows you to listen deeply to your own thoughts and feelings, away from the constant demands of the external world. To truly find what matters, you must learn to be comfortable with silence. This doesn't mean simply being in a quiet room, avoiding noise. It means cultivating a mental silence, an inner stillness that enables you to sift through the distractions and hear your true self. It's about learning to control the mental chatter that often overwhelms us and prevents us from focusing on the things that matter most. The first step in silencing your mind is to recognize that the constant stream of thoughts isn't who you are. Many people identify with their thoughts, believing that they are their thoughts. But this is a misconception. Your thoughts are merely passing ideas, reactions, and judgments. They come and go, often without any conscious effort. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it has to define you or control your actions. Understanding this distinction is crucial for learning to silence your mind. One of the most effective ways to silence your mind is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices are designed to quiet the mental noise by focusing your attention on the present moment. When you meditate, you train your mind to let go of distractions and be fully present. By doing so, you create space to listen to your inner voice. In the silence of your mind, you may begin to uncover your deepest desires, your values, and what truly matters to you. However, the practice of silencing your mind isn't just about sitting in meditation. It's about adopting a mindset of stillness and awareness throughout your daily life. Every moment offers an opportunity to become more present, more aware of your thoughts, and more intentional with how you spend your time and energy. When you begin to silence the mind, you stop reacting automatically to every impulse, every thought, and every distraction. Instead, you start responding thoughtfully from a place of calm and clarity. This mental quiet allows you to see things more clearly. In the absence of distractions, your mind becomes sharp, focused, and able to discern what is important from what is trivial. You can evaluate situations more clearly, make decisions with greater insight, and understand your true feelings without being clouded by external influences. The noise of everyday life can make it difficult to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. But when you silence your mind, you can tune into your intuition and recognize what truly matters. It's also important to recognize that silencing your mind doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your thoughts and feelings. Rather, it's about creating space to observe them without judgment. In the silence, you can examine your thoughts objectively without reacting to them. This allows you to separate yourself from the automatic patterns of thinking that often lead to stress, anxiety, and confusion. By observing your thoughts without attachment, you can begin to identify the ones that are truly worth paying attention to. In silence, you also find the freedom to make conscious choices about your actions. When your mind is cluttered, you often act out of habit or impulsivity. You react to situations without considering the long-term consequences or the deeper motivations behind your actions. But when you cultivate mental silence, you can approach decisions from a place of clarity and calm. You can ask yourself, is this action aligned with my values? Does it serve my long-term goals? In the silence, you gain the ability to choose deliberately instead of reacting out of fear, stress, or external pressure. Another benefit of silencing your mind is that it allows you to strengthen your inner sense of purpose. Many people struggle with a lack of direction or a sense of confusion about what they want in life. This is often due to the constant mental chatter that clouds their judgment. But in the quiet, you can reconnect with your true desires and passions. When you silence the mind, You give yourself the space to explore what you truly want, without being influenced by the expectations or opinions of others. This quiet also helps you reconnect with your emotions. Many people suppress their feelings, either out of fear, avoidance, or the belief that emotions are a distraction. But emotions are often powerful guides that point you toward what matters most. When you silence your mind, you can connect with your emotions in a healthy, constructive way. You can listen to what your feelings are telling you and use them as information to make better decisions and take meaningful action. It's also important to remember that silencing the mind is a process. It takes time and practice to develop the ability to quiet the mental noise. In the beginning, it may feel challenging. Your thoughts may come rushing in, and you may find yourself pulled in different directions. But with consistent practice, you'll begin to develop the skill to quiet your mind more easily. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your ability to stay calm and focused becomes. In addition to meditation and mindfulness, there are other practical strategies you can use to silence your mind. One of the most effective ways is to simplify your life. The more cluttered your environment and schedule are, the more difficult it is to find silence. By decluttering your physical space and simplifying your commitments, you create more room for stillness and clarity. You can also limit your exposure to distractions, such as social media, news, and other sources of constant input. By reducing the external noise, you create more space for internal quiet. Another helpful strategy is to take breaks throughout the day to check in with yourself. These moments of pause can help you reconnect with your inner stillness and recalibrate your focus. Whether it's a few minutes of deep breathing, a walk in nature, or simply sitting quietly and reflecting, these moments of silence can help you ground yourself and regain clarity. Ultimately, silencing your mind is about creating the space to find what truly matters. It's about letting go of the constant pressure to do, achieve, and be more. In the silence, you can connect with your authentic self and gain a deeper understanding of your values, desires, and purpose. You can tune out the noise of the world and listen to the quiet whispers of your inner wisdom. In doing so, you create the foundation for a life that is aligned with what truly matters to you. As you continue on this journey of silencing your mind, remember that this is not a one-time achievement, but a lifelong practice. Every day offers new opportunities to quiet the noise and reconnect with your true self. The more you embrace silence, the more you will find that the clarity, purpose, and peace you seek are always within reach. Number 10. Withdraw from noise to focus on your real goals. In today's world, it's easy to become consumed by the constant noise around us. The digital age, with its endless notifications, messages, and distractions, has created a level of sensory overload that can make it difficult to focus on what truly matters. It's no longer just the physical noise, the conversations, the traffic, the sounds of everyday life, but also the digital noise, the barrage of emails, social media updates, news alerts, and other distractions that constantly demand our attention. All of this noise, whether it's external or internal, can prevent us from staying focused on our real goals. Yet, to achieve meaningful success and personal fulfillment, we must learn how to withdraw from the noise. We must develop the discipline to turn off the distractions and focus our energy on what is truly important. The constant influx of information can cloud our judgment, dilute our energy, and scatter our focus. In order to make progress toward our real goals, we need to withdraw from the noise and create the space for clarity and purpose. The first step in withdrawing from the noise is recognizing that much of what surrounds us is not essential to our well-being or success. In fact, much of it is merely a distraction. The temptation to constantly check our phones, scroll through social media, or keep up with the latest news is powerful. But if we give in to these distractions, we waste precious time and energy on things that don't align with our real goals. The noise keeps us from focusing on what truly matters: our long-term vision, our personal growth, and our true desires. When we step back from the noise, we make room for our real goals to come into sharper focus. The first part of the process is being intentional about where we direct our attention. Ask yourself, what truly deserves your focus? What are the goals that you've set for yourself? Are they personal, career-oriented, or related to your relationships? By identifying what matters most to you, you can begin to prioritize these areas and shut out the distractions that threaten to pull you off course. Withdraw from the noise means creating boundaries, both physical and mental. On a physical level, This might mean taking time away from technology, turning off notifications, or setting aside time each day to disconnect from the online world. It could also mean simplifying your environment, removing clutter, organizing your space, and creating a quiet, focused place where you can work on your goals. By reducing the physical distractions in your environment, you allow your mind to become more focused and intentional. But withdrawing from noise isn't just about external actions. It's also about managing your internal distractions. Our thoughts can often be as noisy as the external world. Our minds are constantly racing, filled with worries, doubts, and the endless stream of what-ifs. These thoughts can take us away from the present moment and distract us from our purpose. To withdraw from this internal noise, we must learn how to quiet the mind. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, and deep breathing can help calm the racing thoughts and bring us back to the present. These practices help us detach from the noise in our minds and create mental space for clarity. In the absence of distractions, we gain the ability to connect more deeply with our own inner wisdom. Without the constant pull of external noise, we are free to listen to our own thoughts and feelings, which can guide us toward our true goals. When we withdraw from the noise, we give ourselves the chance to reflect on what really matters to us and to align our actions with our deeper values. A critical part of this process is learning to say no. One of the greatest challenges in withdrawing from the noise is that we often feel the pressure to be constantly available, to respond to every email, attend every meeting, or keep up with every trend. But saying yes to everything means saying no to the things that truly matter. By learning to say no to distractions, you are actively choosing to protect your time and energy. Saying no is not about being rude or dismissive. It's about setting boundaries that allow you to focus on your real goals and protect your mental and emotional well-being. Another powerful way to withdraw from the noise is through deep work. Cal Newport, in his book Deep Work, argues that the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks is becoming increasingly rare and valuable. Deep work is the practice of dedicating uninterrupted blocks of time to work on your most important goals. It's about creating the conditions for your mind to be fully immersed in the task at hand, without being pulled away by distractions. In today's world, the ability to engage in deep work is a skill that can significantly increase productivity and lead to greater success. By creating a routine that prioritizes deep work, you can start making real progress toward your goals. This might involve blocking out time in your calendar for focused work, minimizing distractions during that time, and setting clear, measurable objectives for what you want to accomplish. The more you commit to deep work, the more you will see progress in your life, and the more confident you'll become in your ability to focus and achieve your real goals. Withdrawing from the noise also means eliminating the excess. This can refer to both physical and mental clutter. In the same way that a cluttered workspace can distract you from your work, clutter in your life can distract you from your real goals. This might involve letting go of unnecessary commitments, simplifying your schedule, or focusing on fewer things with greater intensity. It's about trimming the fat and eliminating distractions that prevent you from directing your energy where it truly matters. Taking breaks is another important part of withdrawing from the noise. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and grind, pushing yourself to constantly work without rest. But true focus and clarity often emerge when we give ourselves the time to recharge. Taking breaks allows your mind to rest, helping you come back to your work with renewed energy and a clearer perspective. Whether it's a walk in nature, a moment of quiet reflection, or simply stepping away from your desk, taking breaks helps you stay grounded and connected to your goals. Moreover, withdrawing from noise requires a shift in mindset. It's about adopting a mindset of prioritization, recognizing that not all noise is worth listening to. It's also about understanding that progress takes time, and that constant distractions will only slow down your ability to achieve your real goals. By embracing patience and intentionality, you can navigate the distractions of modern life and make steady progress toward the things that matter most. The most powerful part of withdrawing from noise is that it allows you to gain clarity. With so many competing priorities, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and uncertain about where to focus your energy. But when you remove the distractions and take time for reflection, the fog lifts. You begin to see your goals with greater precision, and you can make decisions with confidence. The noise may always be present, but by withdrawing from it, you develop the resilience to stay focused on what truly matters. Ultimately, the process of withdrawing from noise is about creating the space to live a life of purpose, intention, and meaning. It's about letting go of the superficial distractions that steal your time and energy, and focusing on what aligns with your deepest values. When you withdraw from the noise, you create the conditions for success, fulfillment, and growth. By choosing where to direct your attention and energy, you ensure that you are investing in your real goals and not merely reacting to the noise of the world.